Hello everyone, this tarot reading is focusing on the question, what can you expect from today? So from the Animal Oracle card, you've got the Bat Spirit. It says rebirth is assured. For the Devil, you have I do apologise, for the Tower you have the Devil, the Justice, the Eight of Swords reversed, and at the bottom of the deck you've got the Four of Cups also reversed. So, Bat Spirit is a very powerful confirmation card. This card always appears when something has truly run its course and a new beginning is being prepared, even if it doesn't fully make sense yet. And it's what's really actually interesting, because when this card came out, that same line came into my head. So last night when I got home, this line, I kept singing the same line over and over again, and it was don't fear the reaper, baby, take my hand. Over and over again. I thought, oh, there's a message in that. And there is. This ties really into this energy. The message here is about being willing to let something end without resisting it or fearing it, okay? Bat Spirit, they move through the dark, okay, through the unknown, and relies completely on their senses. And for this card, it talks about the intuition. So you may feel like you're in very unfamiliar territory right now, unsure of what's next or slightly disorientated. But this card, it reassures you that your intuition is extremely sharp at the moment and you can trust it. Even though it may feel like a night phase, nothing's being lost. It's actually what's happening is that it's being transformed, or you're being transformed. So whatever is falling away is actually making space for something more aligned, something rooted in, I actually want to say love and truth at its core. And everything will be revealed, my darling, in time. And what's coming will actually be more right for you than what you're leaving behind. And this Bat Spirit, it ties beautifully with the tarot, especially with the contrast between the Devil and the Justice card. There's something that stood out to me, is that how both their right hands are pointing up, okay? But they represent very different kinds of authority. The Devil raised right hand mirrors a blessing gesture, similar to the Hierophant, but it's a very disorientated way. It symbolises false promises, manipulation, and the illusion of powerlessness, okay? This is the voice of fear, obligation, guilt, or attachment that convinces you that you have no choice, that you're trapped, or that you'll lose something if you don't comply. So today, this energy may show up as a very familiar trigger, an old pattern, or an internal voice that feels very convincing because it's known, but it isn't true, okay? And what's actually important here is that the Eight of Swords reversed, you're no longer stuck inside that illusion. Again, with that intuition, you're going to be able to see very clearly, and the chains are loosening, and you're actually realizing that what felt binding actually has far less control over you now. And this is where the Bat Spirit also comes back in again, guiding you through the dark with intuition rather than fear. And in contrast with the Justice, she holds the sword in her right hand up. This represents truth, clarity, and decisive action. The sword cuts through illusions. It doesn't negotiate with fear or distort reality. It reveals it. Justice reminds us that the truth always surfaces, and that the balance is restored when we choose honesty with ourselves, okay? Where the Devil manipulates, justice exposes. Where the Devil binds, justice corrects and rebalances. So today isn't about being tested, it's about becoming aware. You may experience a realization, a truth being acknowledged, or a moment where you consciously choose self-respect and clarity over fear and self-doubt. Justice is actively correcting something that once felt confusing or unfair, okay? And the Eight of Swords reverse shows a mental release. You're stepping out of a restrictive mindset or a situation where you might have felt judged, misunderstood, or unsure of yourself. The fog, my darling, is lifting, and with it really comes a sense of a personal power returning. And at the bottom of the deck with the Four of Cups reversed, this confirms emotional re-engagement. This shows a shift out of avoidance or emotional withdrawal. So you may suddenly feel more open, more receptive, or willing to accept an opportunity, perspective, or a truth you previously couldn't see or weren't ready for. This aligns, again, perfectly with the Bat Spirit, accepting the unknown, trusting the transition, and allowing yourself to move forward. So today really brings a moment of awakening. It could be a false narrative, an unhealthy attachment, or limiting belief that's being challenged by truth and clarity. You can today expect insight, a release, and a step towards emotional and mental freedom. So whatever once felt binding, my darlings, no longer has the same hold on you. So as the back card says, you know, a rebirth is assured. So I hope this reading's made sense. Have a wonderful day. Bye-bye.